Every epic journey begins with the first step. For us, that step is the start of an unforgettable journey along the Pan-American Highway, spanning from the northern tip of North America to the southernmost reaches of South America, all in one go. But before we can conquer that incredible feat, we need to reach the northernmost point. In the summer of 2024, we set out from our home on Vancouver Island and began our drive all the way to Tuktoyaktuk, Northwest Territories. Over the course of 3 months, we traversed wild and untamed landscapes, exploring hidden corners of our home province, venturing through 2 territories, and even crossing into Alaska. Our journey begins here, in British Columbia. It's 7:30 in the morning in Port Hardy, and we're loading up onto the Northern Expedition, the boat that will ferry us and our van 16 hours north to Prince Rupert.
You gonna close her up for the next 16 hours?
No. So sad.
I know. Alright, let's go. Just these right here, good. Make better foundations.
The Northern Expedition is responsible for servicing the Port Hardy, Bella Bella, and Prince Rupert terminals and travels 274 nautical miles in both directions. Its route travels through BC's Inside Passage, a long and narrow waterway that snakes itself through the maze of islands along the coast. At times, the passage narrows to only a few hundred feet in width. As we travel north, we pass a number of indigenous settlements, at which point BC Ferries does a short historical broadcast over the intercom, educating passengers on the various tribes that inhabit the area. Along with us on the sailing were my parents as they head north to Haida Gwaii. When we left booking the ferry until too late, we were put on a waiting list. When we received confirmation that we had a spot, it so happened to be on the very same ferry as my parents. Having them along was a welcome coincidence. We both relished the opportunity to witness this remote and boat access only part of British Columbia. BC is a massive province, Canada's 3rd largest, and, for those Americans watching, is 1.5 times the size of Texas. Something that struck us both as we traveled north, looking out upon the mountains, was that we, for probably the first time, were looking at completely wild forest, untouched by logging. As British Columbians, the sight of cut blocks is commonplace, and we think nothing of it. The reverse of that is actually quite astounding. Possibly the best portion of this voyage is the long, narrow stretch of waterway extending from Hartley Bay to Merrick Island. The mountains are really close, and if you hit it at sunset, the colors become super vibrant. It's surprising how quickly 16 hours will go by. I've never been on a cruise ship before, but after this trip, I think I know all I need to. We were feeling cooped up and glad to be arriving in port to disembark. Arriving at 12 a.m. in Prince Rupert, we made quick work of finding a place to sleep for the night. The next morning, we bid my parents farewell and made a break for the mountains. We traveled inland along the Skeena River, a massive freshwater river that looks more like an ocean inlet. It didn't take long for us to sniff out another back road to start exploring.
Landslide warning. The good man scoping our camp spots.
The fact that we are now up north is not just known, we can feel it. There is a magic about this place that is indescribable, and one needs to come here to truly understand.
Welcome to Bugland.
Thanks.
Bugland. Meg is really struggling right now. We both did not get very good sleep last night because the no-see-ums can apparently crawl right through our bug screen. And as soon as you feel them and you know they're biting, your skin just starts to crawl and you can't get away from it.
Don't kill me right now.
She's not having a good time.
Our first spot was only a one-night stop-off, so we pressed on the next morning towards what we were really after, a unicorn camp spot that we only knew existed and roughly how to get there, and it would take everything we had to make it there. We made a short stop in the town of Terrace to refuel and restock on food before once again turning off Highway 16 onto gravel.
First air down.
30 psi split, 25 on the front and 30 on the back. Because we want optimal traction and shock absorption.
Traction and shock absorption.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can see here, but the bug bite saga has well and truly begun. I am absolutely covered, and they're not even mosquitoes. It was no-see-um bites that get through our screens.
Our route along the Copper Mountain River led us straight into the mountains, and soon we were seeing snow-capped peaks poking through the trees.
I can agree to that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So what have we got here, love?
We've got tofu and black bean burrito bowls. Shredded tofu
But
and
they're on
black beans.
plates.
Yeah, because we don't have bowls big enough to accommodate the size of burrito bowl we need after skipping lunch.
Okay, that makes sense. Looks really delicious, though.
Yeah.
The next morning, as we pressed into the mountains, our eyes would be treated to an absolute feast. I'll reiterate the fact that we know this place existed and roughly how to get there. I mapped the route on GPS, but aside from that, I had little else to go on. I knew of 2 previous YouTubers that had done the trail, one with a 4-wheel drive and one with a 2-wheel drive. Chrome, of Van City Van Life, attempted this trek in his van, however, was turned around, and Foresty Forest drove the trail from the other direction. I had little else to go on, aside from the knowledge that all the snow had melted, and someone in a 4-wheel drive had completed it the week before.
My gosh, that is absolutely incredible. So beautiful.
We are currently parked beside a glacier-fed creek, so that means we're gonna fill up our water, because when you get a chance to fill up with glacier-fed water, you fill up. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. It's actually kokanee.
And the worst joke of the day goes to...
Hell chicks! Thank you very much. Thank you. Balcony in its purest form.
So, I made some natural bug spray with essential oils, witch hazel, alcohol, and it seems to be working pretty well. And it smells really good, so this is a win. I've only gotten one mosquito bite in this mosquito infested place.
It's the Megan Bug Bite Chronicles. Aha! See? Oh yeah!
This thing, best purchase ever.
As we progressed, the trail became increasingly more rugged, and with it, so did the views. At this point, our eyes were bulging and minds exploding. I couldn't believe that I was accessing a place like this in a 8,700-pound two-wheel drive van.
Oh, it's so good to be back in BC. So good to be back in the mountains.
However, my exuberance was short-lived, and we soon came up against our first real obstacle, the same place Chrome was turned around. At this point, we were so far in, and from what I could judge from inside the van, we had a chance. So as the saying goes, when in doubt, throttle out. Turns out, with a bit of momentum, good wheel placement, and a lot of dumb luck, you can actually make it up a lot. We climbed that hill, and boy, was I ever glad we kept on pushing.
This is a different story. I'm gonna go hike this just to see how steep this incline is, because this is like right at the upper limit of what we are capable of. Well, it appears as if this is kind of like the last section, this big huge rock slide. I think if I make it up that steep incline over there, that the rest should be relatively straightforward. So I think we're gonna go for it.
As I hiked back down to the van, I did my best to clear the path of any major rocks that might bend a rim or cause further issues. After a better look at a larger obstacle lower down, I found a line I could take. If I could get past that, the rest of the incline would likely be doable. I backed up to get a little bit of a run, and then pinned it. Unfortunately, I didn't quite have enough momentum to make it past the first obstacle. At some point, I'd need to make a choice to turn around if our transmission didn't have enough grab to get us up and over the hill. So I decided to give it one more try. There it is, the big rock I needed to pass. If only I can keep momentum, I might have a chance. I can feel the momentum bleed away. My foot is on the floor at this point, but the van continues to pull up the hill.
You sweating?
tell you what, when you give a guy a bunch of stupidity, a V8 engine, and a whole bunch of traction, that's what you get right there, folks. Oh my gosh, that was so steep.
She just cruised on up.
I know.
When you were going past me, that steep section, the back tires spit out so many huge rocks.
Yeah.
And they all just flew past my ankles. It was great.
I'm very thankful for that. Woo! Now we got some rock crawling to do.
Oh, great.
Oddly enough, this is the easy part. With the van's clearance, locker, short wheelbase, and sharp turning radius, short and small applications of throttle had us through these rock gardens relatively easy. By nature, I'm what you call a hopeful pessimist. However, seemingly when I'm on the trail, I turn into a total optimist. It's always, we're almost there, and we have a short distance left. In the case of this trail, I was right, but distance had nothing to do with it. It's what was in the way that we didn't expect.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Just a few branches.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Someone needs to come through here with a chainsaw. This is fun.
Is it?
This is fun. Bit of adventure.
Who are you convincing?
Myself. I want to.
There were a small number of small rock gardens like this that slowed our progress. Not to mention the tight tree tunnels that threatened to rip off our awning and peel the paint right off the body of the van.
Not having fun anymore. This is me not having fun anymore. And at last, we arrived at the final boss. A small rockfall had deposited some large boulders in the middle of the road. It was clear that some side-by-sides and smaller 4x4 traffic had made it through, but with our width and height, we'd need to do some landscaping to pass. This is some type 2 fun that I did not sign up for. See if we can winch this puppy out of the way. It's gonna come off.
Of course, this was the plan.
At least we have a winch.
On all my pickups, the first mod I always do is put rock sliders on. I never thought I'd be rock crawling with the van and opted to save weight instead of putting protection over the rockers.
Yep.
Am I regretting that decision now? Maybe.
You might be stuck on your passenger side. I don't know. You're going right for that spiky bit.
I'm like so close to that rocker panel. I don't want to bust it out.
You mean this rusty ass thing?
Yeah, Betty's got a little bit of cancer apparently. Wish she didn't, but she does.
The back swing out's still open, eh?
I must have forgotten about that.
It's fine. It held.
Alright. It's off-road ready.
6 inches? You got rooms? Straighten out. Okay, wheels this way. All right, new development. We've gone approximately 10 meters down the road. Nearly fell down a cliff. And now we're gonna try and winch this huge rock because Betty's too fat.
Too fat.
Betty too fat.
Fat shaming Betty again?
Yeah. Good. Good now. Hey? All right.
Oh, just one less strap, one less other strap.
Two straps down.
2 straps down. And we're almost finished the trail, so.
What we gained from this experience was, yes, an epic camp spot to sleep for a night, but also a sense of accomplishment, a strengthened relationship, and a memory that will last us a lifetime. That's what makes it all worth it. After 6 hours on the trail, there was nothing else to do but crack a beer and enjoy the view. And what a view.
Well, this is our spot for the night. It ain't bad. Took a lot to get here. Over here. But our adventure is not over yet. Right, babe?
Ah!
We've got a pretty significant water crossing ahead of us.
It's pretty shallow. I think we'll be okay.
Good. Wait, do you want to say that again, Meg?
This campsite makes a very good case for us moving to Smithers. Come on. What the heck?
Cool.
One day and 2 nights is all we've allowed ourselves in this epic sliver of mountain paradise. The weather has rolled in, draping the mountain peaks in low cloud, and a palpable stillness has descended on the valley. The 6-hour battle we endured to get here left us both exhausted and a little strung out. So, breathing in the pure mountain air and absorbing as much of the quiet as possible was high on our list of things to do. What little we know of the trail ahead of us has come by reports from side-by-side drivers and other 4x4 motorists. Our immediate exit involves a water crossing and supposedly another that may or may not reach upwards of 30 inches deep. It seems to us as though we've likely gone through the worst of it on the trip in, which we're thankful for because we're not sure the van can handle much more abuse. But all of the reports have come from people in 4-wheel drive vehicles, and that, as we'll soon learn, is an important point to account for when you're driving a 2-wheel drive van and everything is twice as challenging. With all that being said, it's time to leave and find out what's ahead. First up, possibly the deepest water crossing we've ever taken the van through. Water crossing crossed, it's back to tree tunnels, and this time it's noticeably narrower than before. This narrow section of tree tunnel was additionally filled with water as high as our door, so about 20 inches deep.
Well, we are at our next obstacle. I was warned about this by some people that came through on their side-by-sides, and they said once the dirt turns red, to go and walk and see how it is, because apparently it's scary. Well, they weren't kidding. It is quite steep, narrowish, and there's a pretty good drop-off right there. Honestly, at this point, there's not really any other option. We have to come up here. So I think that's probably the worst area right down there. And the rest of it is fairly smooth, so I guess we're just gonna, you know, when in doubt, throttle out.
We did our best to clear the steep and shaly section of trail. Alders had grown down the hill and into the path of the traffic, and I wanted to be certain I wasn't distracted by branches hitting the van while I climbed. This section is pretty high consequence. If something goes wrong, I'm rolling down that hill. While I took care of the pruning, Meg cleared as many rocks out of the way of the tires as possible. With rocks and tree limbs out of the way, there was nothing left to do but put the pedal to the metal and see if the van would climb the hill. At this point, what little momentum I had gained at the bottom of the hill was quickly bleeding away, but the van was still climbing. When I approach these inclines, due to the fact that we don't have a transfer case, I really need to balance my approach speed. Not too fast, not too slow.
Oh, Betty, what a beast.
Well, we made it. Don't know what kind of damage we did to the van, but we made it.
Really?
I don't know. It still feels good up here. It grabs nice, but it was slipping pretty good back. Okay, well, upwards and onwards. I think we're on Easy Street from here.
Okay, let's get in the van. That was a sacrifice. A total sacrifice. Mosquito sacrifice.
A few minutes later, we arrived here. In a four-wheel drive vehicle, this wouldn't be much of a problem, but for us, it most definitely is. At the top of the hill, I immediately start looking for winch points in the bush. My uncertainty that we'll make it out of this trail is growing minute by minute.
This is definitely a problem.
Should we build it up?
Yeah.
How's the back feeling?
Invigorated. Lift with your legs.
Adrenaline. It's a hell of a drug. What? You're gonna go for it? This is 0% ideal. All these rocks on a steep incline.
Just be ready to get out of the way, okay?
Yep.
Betty is not going to like this. After a few more minutes of looking at it, I decided on a different line, one that will put me closer to a good tree to winch off if I get stalled. But apparently I won't need the winch on this hill today.
We're nuts.
Everybody on the internet is just shaking their head right now, just being like, what is wrong with this guy?
Something serious.
Yeah.
I agree, internet. I agree.
Okay, let's go find the easy sailing that we've been looking for because I want to get out of here.
Oh my god. Way to go, babe.
Way to go, babe.
What did I do?
You're such a good sport, and you're doing such a good job of filming. I love it. I love you.
I love you. Did you get them with this or no?
Father. Yeah, so much for Easy Street.
My heart hurts.
Boy. it just keeps on getting worse. Everyone that we talked to that came through our campsite yesterday was like, oh yeah, it's easy that way out and you're not gonna have any issue. Wrong.
Alex just put his hands up like in an exasperated way. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get up this next bit. I don't really know what we're gonna do if we can't though, because going back is like way longer and probably equally as treacherous. So yeah, I love off-roading.
Well, after a bit of an assessment, it looks like this first part is probably going to be the most challenging, and then this part is going to be a little bit easier maybe, but again, everything I have to do with momentum and really good line choice. So we're going to go for it and see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
I'll tell you this with the utmost honesty. Every obstacle that we have come against on this trail, I have looked at and wondered if this will be the one that will turn us around. I am not exaggerating our circumstances. It is no small feat for a two-wheel drive van as heavy as ours to make it through what this van has.
Go Betty, go Betty, go. Oh, she just cruises up, eh?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. That sucked.
Not long after the last notable incline in the trail, we came across the deepest water crossing. This will now be the deepest crossing we forded, and it was
Alright,
quite
so
deep.
that water got to the hem of my shorty shirt.
We went through Betty's undercarriage wash. Holy smokes.
The rest of the trail out was relatively nonchalant. Motorists traveling in the opposite direction smiled and waved, and I'm sure wondered how the drive was in a big four-wheel drive van. Not knowing, of course, we'd just done the whole trail in two-wheel drive.
I think we made it. This looks just like plain old Forest Service road. So I think we have successfully driven the Telkwa Pass and come out alive and surprisingly undamaged. Like the van, I mean, I'm gonna take stuff apart later, I'm sure, but she's still driving. So that was cool. We're gonna go find a place to camp because the 3 miles or so that we have driven has taken us 2 hours, and we're both exhausted already, so some rest and recuperation are in line. We did it, babe!
We did it.
Excuse me, I'm trying to get a shot here.
I'm trying to protect us.
Having completed the Telkwa Pass is by no means an incredible feat of off-road exploration. Having done it in a two-wheel drive van is perhaps a little bit more impressive. However, the willingness and confidence to do something such as what we just completed is a muscle I'm trying to exercise. We believe in testing and retesting our comfort zones in an attempt to be well prepared mentally and emotionally for the inevitable struggles that lie ahead. We're just getting started, and we're certain that bigger and crazier adventures await us.
You know, you're right. We never ever bring up Employee of the Month. Weirdly, I think that's the best I've ever done it.
Well, we have made it to the microwave tower as we set out to do. It is rainy, dreary, and cold up here. Meg is obviously making some lunch for us because it's pretty late in the day and we have not had food yet. We're both pretty exhausted. And unfortunately on the way up here, we discovered that either our alternator or DC-DC charger is not charging our house battery. We did wake up this morning with a dead battery, and yeah, so if we sit up here with no solar, then we're probably going to have a very, very dead battery by tomorrow morning. So we're gonna head into Smithers to my friend Zach's place, plug in the van there, charge up our house battery, and hopefully figure out what's going on. I hope we don't need a new charger or an alternator, but the more likely of the two is an alternator. So we'll see.
Adversity is something you experience every day when living out of the van. Whether it be big or small, it's always present. We've had our fair share of it in the past 2 years of travel, and once again, we're about to find ourselves stuck in needing to make the best of our situation. Over the following days, we would meet up with friends in Smithers and proceed to explore as much of the surrounding area as possible. As we both have aspirations of one day finding a place to settle down, we're always on the lookout for somewhere that feels like home. So this breakdown served as a welcome chance to feel out what this mountain town has to offer.
Spaghetti.
Biscotti?
Spaghetti.
Biscotti?
Spaghetti bolognese and a salad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Let's eat it.
Yeah.
Alright. Hello.
I'm giving you a high five.
Yeah. Alright.
So it's been a few days since we got to Smithers. We've been hanging out with my friend Zach and Katie and their boys, and we are yet again delayed, unfortunately. We've had a little bit of an issue with our electrical system. I think possibly our charger failed, so we've been topping up our batteries at Zach's place. And in addition to that, this camera that I'm shooting on right now has also developed an issue. It won't turn off, so that's kind of unfortunate. And so this camera has to be sent in to Canon to be repaired. And because I was already kind of on the edge about camera brands, I went ahead and purchased another camera, so this is probably the last footage that you're going to be seeing from a Canon camera. So yeah, unforeseen delays. They're kind of lame, but what can you do?
That's a cool bird call.
It's like the Alpine Police.
Oh.
You gonna try and catch it? Is it a wet feet day? Got a long ways to go.
You made it, right?
Ew! Way to go!
I went on snow walking.
You like Legolas. Look at those mountains. Very like. What are you doing, Meg?
Applying nature's perfume.
Yeah?
Give us a whiff.
Yeah.
After our time here, we're going to have hiked every mountain and camped at every little tucked away camp spot. We'll stay here a night before heading out into the mountains for our next adventure.
So we camped here on this riverside spot last night, which is really peaceful. However, we're really finding that up north we're starting to lose a lot of sleep between the early rise and late set of the sun and the no-see-ums and mosquitoes that seem to still be getting into the van. It's getting pretty brutal. Our sheets are currently covered in little spots of blood. Our blood, because we kill mosquitoes and then they land on our sheets and are full of our blood. That's gross. So yeah, the struggle's real, let me tell you. We're gonna go hike up to a lake called Blue Lake today. Hopefully, with any luck, we actually see something because the cloud cover is pretty low right now. Just trying to make the best of this delay. Thumbs up.
Well, okay. So we are both currently absolutely sweating to death because we have to wear all this clothing and being absolutely eaten alive in the process. Mosquitoes out here are bad right now. Apparently they kind of start to die away in about a month's time, but I think we have a lot of riding the struggle bus for the next month or so, which is not ideal. I don't know if you can see it, Meg's head is covered in mosquitoes. There's a tree frog right there. I can't see him on camera. Ah, there he is.
There. Oh my gosh, you got guy. Oh, he's a docile little baby. Oh, you just peed on me. I'm sorry, did I scare you, little angel? Look, let's bring him to the van.
Meg finds another pet. Him.
What should we name him?
The new house.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
Brilliant. Are you happy about today now?
yes.
Mosquito massacre aside, trudging our way into the forest was like entering a fantasy world. This region is right on the boundary of the coastal mountain range and inland mountains, which means annual rainfall is considerably higher than just 50 kilometers further east. The rich and vibrant colors of a coastal rainforest, varied with unmistakable subalpine forest, was a true sight to behold. We quickly found ourselves engrossed in the forest splendor, interspersed with fits of violently swatting mosquitoes. Well, we may be stuck in place for a while, but that's okay. Part of this lifestyle is just waiting for things to happen. All you can do is accept it and figure out what to do to pass the time. We're incredibly blessed to be in a place where there is such immense beauty and outdoor activity to keep our hearts and minds full. Stay tuned. There's so much road ahead, and as you may know, the further you go north, the more drastic the beauty. We've all had those times in our lives when nothing seems to go quite right. It's part of life, simply unavoidable. It so happens that we've been stuck in one of those stretches for almost 2 weeks. With an unexpected camera failure, followed by a malfunctioning electrical component, and then shipping of new items being delayed, we found ourselves marooned in Smithers for a considerably longer period of time than we had intended. Life on the road has shown us time and again the importance of adapting to challenges, staying positive, and making the best of what we have. Thankfully, our friends in Smithers graciously took us in, offering us a place to recharge and receive packages. While waiting, some fellow travelers from across the pond found us. Christian, Andrea, and their dog Nacho have traveled all the way from Switzerland to do the Pan American Highway. We had been in contact on the internet prior, and our delay allowed them to catch up to us. As we still have a few days to burn before our items arrive, we're venturing out to camp alongside Babine Lake and explore the area surrounding Grand Isle. A couple nights here allow us to get well acquainted with our new friends, swap stories, and have a few laughs. As we're now directed to the start of the Pan American Highway, the people we meet up north will likely become familiar faces as we travel south over the following 2 years. Having some familiar faces to reach out to on the road is always something you want and will likely need as a traveler. Even with the two of us, it can get lonely on the road, and sprinkling our travels with some human interaction helps to keep us as well-rounded humans. Sitting around a fire, cooking food, and eating in the presence of other people is one of our most fundamental human needs, and it's all too often overlooked and underrated.
Well, today's the day. We have been waiting in Smithers for almost 2 weeks now, and our new camera has shown up and the charger has shown up. So we're just going to Purelator now to get our the last package, and then we'll be leaving Smithers today. Finally, it's been a really great time here, but it's time to move on. So yeah, woo! Okay.
Eventually, we found ourselves on the way into Stewart, British Columbia, along the 37A. This route, if you haven't done it already, requires both driver and passenger to continuously crane their necks to catch glimpses of the towering mountains overhead. If you find yourself sore, feel free to ice your aches and pains in any of the glacier-fed lakes or rivers along the way. Directly adjacent to Stewart is the southernmost entrance into Alaska. When you enter the town, there is no border stop, as this road eventually dead ends a little past the Salmon Glacier up the mountainside back in British Columbia.
Salmon, Glacier.
We quickly passed through the little town of Hyder and found ourselves once again ascending into the mountains. We were going glacier hunting. Suffice to say, the Salmon Glacier is an impressive sight to behold. Unfortunately, it has dwindled considerably from its former glory.
Welcome to my glacier.
Is this your glacier?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
When referencing pictures I have of this place from 2017, it's easily apparent that back then the ice was considerably higher up the walls of the mountains than they are today. Those photos were taken near the end of the summer, whereas we're just at the beginning of the summer this year. It's a sad reality that one day, this ice may no longer exist. We eventually found our friends again who had come ahead of us, parked up, and settled in for the night. Not long after arriving, Miss Dorothy Post, a fellow Pan American traveler, rolled into our camp and decided to stay.
Well, today we're gonna go and hike to that waterfall right there. We are doing it with all the new friends. We've got Flurry Adventures and we've got Dorothy Post. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun little adventure down the mountainside to the glacier and then up to the waterfall. Excited for it. You guys ready to go?
Absolutely.
We are.
Alright. Bit cold, is it?
Yeah.
What's your fun there?
Hey, Stu.
What's your?
So cool.
There you go.
I may or may not have just left my phone on a rock down there. Oops.
He got it.
Really ran up that.
Thanks, Bae. You are so fast.
Adventure guy.
It's the hat. It's
Overland hat. cold down below. It's really...
The first day complete, we gathered to share a meal together. Sitting there, eating with new friends, I couldn't help but envision the myriad of new and interesting locales that we would spend evenings eating good food with good people. The adventures, views, and experiences that lie ahead are tantalizing and alluring, making one feel the desire to run towards them. But time is not something we can hasten, and we should instead attempt to slow it down, savoring each moment, etching it into our minds, so that when we inevitably look back on these moments later on in life, the memory is clear and readily available. The Salmon Glacier Valley is still a heavily mined area with a large gold mine already in place and a possible second on its way. Back in the 1980s, a collection of mine shafts were dug into the mountainsides and can be seen from the road. Back in 2017, I was able to drive to a number of them to explore inside. However, with the increased popularity of the area and worries about liability, the industrial owners have closed down access, so we were unable to explore. Although exploration of the various mine shafts wasn't a possibility, we were allowed a quick glimpse of the Grand Glacier before we turned back.
All right, tour guide Alex, let's go.
There's another glacier right there. Can you see it? It's amazing. Lots of snow.
So we got one last little mission to do before we leave the Salmon Glacier, and that is to go and find a snow cave that our friend Dorothy told us about. So here we go.
opportunity.
Holy moly, babe.
What the heck?
Let's go inside.
Okay.
Well, although I really want to go inside, because I actually fear the wrath of our mothers, I'm not going to. And also there's been pretty recent ice fall right there, so probably not super advisable. I'd rather not be one of those people that get buried in ice. So we're just gonna observe from here and
Sounds cold.
sounds cold? Yeah, anyway, yeah. Stay safe, people, stay safe. I mean, the view out from the ice cave ain't bad either.
Should we just do the slip and slide into the glacial pond?
What is with you and
Phew.
just dying of hypothermia? Like, come on.
Come on, Wim Hof. Channel your inner Wim Hof.
Yeah.
It's another Bootski adventure with Adventure Alex. Let's go.
Watch the old man hurt himself doing this. Extreme Alex.
Adventure Alex. Adventure Meg.
Oh god.
There you go, honey. That was a good slide.
Oh
my
I'm
goodness.
gonna have frostbite on my butt. What does it look like?
It's just wet. Just a wet butt.
4 nights atop a massive rock outcropping neighboring an even bigger glacier is all we could afford on this trip. With the Salmon Glacier now in our rear view, it's time to start making progress north. Our Swiss friends, Flurry Adventures, have joined us for the northern section of the Stewart-Cassiar Highway, and as we follow behind them, we often wonder if these fellow mountain dwellers are impressed with our Canadian variety of rock monolith. But really, we know they are. Who wouldn't be impressed with this? Due to our long delay in Smithers, our timeline for making it to Whitehorse, Yukon is fast approaching, which means we need to move quite quickly. This stop beside Yukon-Tenejun Lake serves as a quick and easy camp spot for the night. Tomorrow we'll make it past Dease Lake and land close to the Yukon border. Rainfall this year seems to be ample, which although not great for outdoor activities, is very good for the region. Luckily for us, during our visit to Boya Lake Provincial Park, after a short wait, the sun popped out and gifted us its warmth to take off the chilly edge of this crystal clear water.
I'm a new woman. I've had my bath.
Got all the dust over her hair.
Yeah, kinda.
A few more hours of driving and we were yet again pulling off the highway for another night's sleep.
Well, right now we are just under the Yukon border, and we found this little spot on the GPS image, and gosh, I think we should just stay here forever.
It'll do.
It'll do.
It'll do, Charlie.
Well, our friends Christian and Andrea and Nacho have left us. We had to stay back and do a little bit of work, but we are ready to rock and roll and head to Whitehorse. But before we do that, let's just take a moment to appreciate this totally radical camp spot. Places like this exist all throughout BC. It's just a matter of hopping onto a back road and exploring a little bit, and then you get some kind of like crazy, beautiful river spot. So yeah, ready to go?
Ready to rumble.
She's ready to rumble.
Eventually, we made it into Yukon, but we weren't quite ready to say goodbye to British Columbia yet.
have you done, love? Tell us.
It's burger night.
Is it burger night?
Yeah, baby.
Burgers.
If only we had mushrooms on the burgers.
Nope. No mushrooms.
Wowzers.
Others.
There's some flavor crystal action in these pans. Beef crystals.
Beef crystals.
Yeah. Baby. Little delicious. So delicious. He's excited for burger time.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. That's the good
Welcome
stuff.
to the Yukon.
Welcome to the Yukon, folks. Oh yeah.
There is a little town called Atlin in the northwest corner of British Columbia that is, for a lack of a better term, landlocked. The only way in is from the Yukon. On all other sides are massive mountains and no roads out. As our search for somewhere to one day call home continues, this remote little BC town has really intrigued us. The only way to determine if it's for us is to make the 1.5-hour detour south from the Yukon 1. So, into town we go. Immediate impressions? We like it here.
We look to the mountains. We don't care.
Let's see about the hikes.
Nothing is really.
Well, we're gonna go up there.
Now little by little, in the twilight's gentle flow, in the dance of fading light, we grow. And all the warnings, when you wanna be loved by everyone, you get fooled by anyone so easily. I'm lost. You say you're tired, so am I. But without you, I'm lost. I'm lost. Yeah, we can walk on water. While the boats
Okay, so the hikes are pretty good too.
soon the walls will be giving in. Anytime now. Anytime now. Another shrug of the shoulders. I guess I'll be walking home in the rain. I lost you, but then you were mine again. Just like the wind and the fire. Wind and fire. We forget about everything, every true remarkable thing. No wonder we lost.
Sitting here atop this mountain, looking over the valley below, I think we both couldn't help but ask ourselves, could this be home for us one day? We won't know if that's the case for a few more years, but this place, possibly more than others to date, felt like it could be home.
Tell me, where are we?
Warm Springs.
Oh, Warm Springs is our favorite thing.
Atlin Warm Spring.
Ooh.
We're hoping it's warm enough to take a bath.
It's warm.
Well, it's a warm spring, so I hope so.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry. What have we here, babe?
Peanut butter udon noodles.
Peanut butter udon noodles?
Yeah, I don't know if that's very traditional.
Not gonna fault you for it.
Thanks.
It's pretty good, babe.
We'll see. I don't know. Haven't tasted it.
Good.
What you're looking at here is about 10 o'clock p.m., which looks like 5 o'clock p.m. equivalent further south. I tell ya, these long days are really messing with my head.
She gave me a whole loaf of fresh bread. That's awesome. Just trying to share the Chad joy, and I got something awesome in return.
We went to the Atlin bakery over here to get some provisions, and Meg asked the lady inside if she was baking any sourdough bread, and the lady's like, no, I just killed my starter. And then Meg's like, oh, do you need a little bit of starter? And she said yes. So Meg just dropped off a little bit of sourdough starter. And if you guys don't know, Meg travels with a sourdough starter called Chad. And so Chad lives on in Atlin now. So if you want to have a little bit of Chad, go to the Atlin bakery and order yourself some sourdough bread. That right there looks so delicious.
Oh yeah, baby.
It's time to eat some delicious delectables.
Yep. Lunch. A very nutritious lunch.
Is it lunchtime already?
It's 1 p.m.
Oh my gosh. I have like the hardest time keeping track of time out here when there's like kind of no nighttime. It'd be like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and be like, is it 10 a.m.? What the heck? All right.
I don't have any trouble keeping track of time.
I also don't have a working phone, nor do I have a watch.
What do you mean? We share a phone.
Oh, dang. That is like
Hippie Chicky delivering the carrot cake.
floofy.
With his pure sugar. It's actually the way my brain works. Way in. The white horse.
Yeah.
Cheers. Oh, armchair.
We don't have much time left here in Atlin, but there is time enough to squeak in just a little bit more exploring before we go.
What does my head look like?
Well, that's pretty much it for us. I think that's as high as we're gonna go. Pretty windy up here, and we're only rookie mountaineers, so don't need to push any boundaries. You're welcome, mothers. So back down we go.
From here, we leave British Columbia for Yukon, Alaska, and Northwest Territories, where we'll remain for the rest of the summer. We depart our home province with new knowledge from the places we've explored, but also know that there is a lifetime of exploring that still awaits us.
What happens when you try and catch a drone out of the air and it doesn't want to come down. It cuts your finger pretty good. Oopsies. It's just blood. Okay. Well, we made it down off the mountain and it only stopped bleeding like right near the bottom, so we're gonna get it rinsed off and disinfected and all that good stuff. Luckily I have this nice glacier fed creek here. Someone told me to hold it above my heart. I don't know, I don't get it.
From Atlin, British Columbia, we continue to travel north into Yukon. We stay there for a short time with some friends and hike some mountains before heading into Alaska. With our travels throughout BC, we've had a great kickoff to our summer, but we're just getting started. The rest of the north still lies ahead of us. Thank you to those of you who choose to sit down and travel with us for a sliver of time every week. We sincerely appreciate all of your comments, words of encouragement, and stories. To those of you new here, welcome. We hope you choose to stay. And lastly, we hope our stories inspire you to get outside and make your own long-lasting memories. There's a big, beautiful world out there, and you belong in it. Thank you for being here, and until the next one, keep on roaming. If you'd like to support us directly by keeping gas in our tank and food in our bellies, you can contribute on Patreon.